Time on deck is 5:26 a.m. And I just, clearly I'm a workaholic, but the reason for it, so Monday, March 23rd, 5:27. I'm doing this really more for therapy, obviously. Self-help therapy. And just to show off my new fucking tripod. Look, I'm cold. So I like to try and do different things because obviously most of the time when you guys see me recording, I'm just like, you know, seated, and now I can move the camera around. So that's different. But now I'm cold. Let's see. Where should I put it? Maybe here? I just want to be myself, you know. Yeah, this is how I like to sit, so that's real. But I wouldn't be actually holding my dolls. This is just for show. I sit here because I told you when I have back pain, then I'll just, get out of bed. Of course, I am a toxic boy mom. So, I mean, the girls are too small. And even still, like, the girls, they got the fucking dresses on, so that's really annoying. Let's see where is a good fucking place to put this shit. Look, it's ready in like 2 minutes. Just fucking around 2 minutes. I gotta be happy with what it looks like. Let's see. Showing my feet, I think is good. Look at all that nasty clutter. This is what's real. Okay. Let's just do this where I have, Okay, the reason why I turned on the camera is because, well, I was honestly gonna start recording in bed, but I was like, no. I need to have some sort of boundaries. Can't just be working from fucking bed, like, I told you I need boundaries. So I'm just gonna fucking wake up at 5:30 a.m. because it's like between the fan and the air conditioner, I just can't seem to find a comfortable level. When I put the fan on, I don't have it directly on me. It's just like to have movements of air swirling in the room, it's because regardless, it's still moving the air around, even if it's not directly on me. And then I told you the AC being directly overhead, shooting right at me, whether it's swiveling or whatever, I just can't seem to get it to a comfortable position. So I just cannot wait to get the fuck out of here. And have you noticed the pattern? It's been like that everywhere. Everywhere that I've been so far. But obviously, no. For the most part, all the places that I stayed at were hostels. And then the last place was a hotel that had dead bugs already in the room. And it's just not something that I care to see, but obviously if I'm going to be living in Southeast Asia, it's going to be a reality that I just have to fucking get used to, whether I like it or not, if I want to be around this area, this neck of the woods. I told you, like, even in the United States, like, when I was in Florida, it's just a fucking roach party. Me going to town, using my fucking bottom of my slipper Just imagine. So you know that game, right? I told you guys that fucking what is it? Like an alligator game or whatever. You're just smashing the alligators when they come out. um, at the arcade room. I mean, I don't know what the fuck that name of that game is called, but just imagine me using my slipper to kill cockroaches. And I think when I was in Florida, my dad would just use like a cooking utensil. Like, so you know the thing you use to flip fucking pancakes, but like a he'll just use that instead of like cooking with that shit. He'll just use that shit to fucking get rid of to kill the cockroaches. It's just I don't want to be living like that, man. What a nightmare. But 6 minutes, dude. I talk too much. I guess you could say, like, all the talking that I've done up to this point was more or less like an icebreaker, you know, before getting into the nitty-gritty serious stuff of what compels me to turn on my fucking camera at 5:30 a.m. Let me just, like, deal with this shit first, because I have something that wants to come out of my nose. I was watching Wife Swap just now, like one of their newer shows that they just came out with. Not new, but because it's obviously it's an old show, but like they just dropped a new episode off this channel. And it was like a Bible loving family. One where, so like they live according to the Bible, and based off their interpretation is that women are here to serve men, etc. And that's basically how they run their household. So their son is favored or spoiled, and their daughter is left to do the brunt of the house chores, etc. And the daughter did not have a good relationship with her parents or her mom, especially. Like, I just find it crazy that, parents will even admit that they hate their kids. And unfortunately, we do not live in a perfect world, and I always say that the only thing about this universe that's perfect is God. God is perfect. And if it makes you feel uncomfortable, to even hear about God, then, obviously nobody's forcing you to watch this. But, okay, well, if I start crying, then, it's just gonna happen. Like I said, I do this for my own self-help therapy. And obviously, the things that I talk about are kind of fucking personal, and, wow, I can't believe I'm, like, already getting teary-eyed before even starting. And obviously, it's just, because I want to be real. So if I'm looking at myself, I'm not going to be real. So let me just take a break. Because, like, obviously you are probably watching me and you're just like, what the hell's going on? Why is she crying? And I'm obviously going to explain. Because, 5:30 a.m., what is compelling me to get the fuck out of bed to talk about something so personal? I don't really have a good relationship with my mom at all. I've told you guys that she's a fucking psychopath. So, like, I know that my mom needs to do, healing work that she's never gonna do, right? We all have traumas that need to be addressed, but some people go to therapy and other people go to the casino. Or other people just turn to drugs, whether it's alcohol or, hard stuff, etc. Some people, they just like to drink their life away and my mom was actually drinking a lot, but she kind of stopped. I told you she's got a lot of fucking problems, and one of them being cancer. So, I've cried about this before. You may or may not have seen that video or videos. For the most part, I just like to be happy-go-lucky and talk shit and be in a, good vibes mood. But every once in a while, shit like wife swap, it just kind of, it's one of my favorite shows only because, I like to see happy families. Because obviously I don't have that. Besides my haunted spirit dolls, whom I think, if you think that you are materialistic and only give a fuck about, the 3D world, the reason why spirit dolls are so stubborn is because they don't want to let go of the 3D world. That just tells you how stubborn everybody is. Because if they were ready to move on and get the fuck out of here, then they would not be latching on to a haunted spirit doll. It wouldn't be haunted. They would just be going off to heaven or want to be somewhere else. So, it's, I guess in a way it's kind of like the living clinging on to their youth. They don't like change. And that's the one wonderful thing that I love about dolls, is because, like, obviously, when you have a baby, you're just gonna be having babies every fucking year because you just like babies. Like, that's too much. That's too much work. That's too expensive. So he's just gonna be cute forever. He's just gonna stay this way forever. That's the benefit of having a spirit doll, right? They're just gonna be cute forever, and they're never gonna grow out of it. So the Bible-loving family. Now, I also felt like I was also ripped off with this one episode because the strict father in the Bible household, he just wouldn't go through with the whole, like why do you sign up for this shit if you're not even going to allow it to play out? Like, you're not even going to play along. Why did you sign up for this shit? I want my refund. Like, if I paid for it. And obviously, I paid for it with my time watching this fucking show. So, I don't like that fucking dad because he didn't even want to entertain the other wife by going along with her rules. So, that's number one. I mean, the other household, at least you got, it was like if I was to actually ask for a refund, I would be like, just refund half of it, because The other half, like, they put out. Like, they went along with the fucking rules, etc. And the benefit is for the family. That's what I like about this show, right? Because I talked to you guys about how I used to like the Extreme Home Makeover, and you thought that, it was the show was helping these people. Look, here I am being a toxic boy mom. That you thought that the show was helping these people out, but in the grand scheme of things, it really fucked them up even more. So they were worse off than in the beginning after they converted their house into a mansion, because then they couldn't keep up with the fucking maintenance, the upkeep, the electricity bills, etc. So, and oftentimes I know you hear that shit. So oftentimes the Extreme Home Makeover, they would have to sell the house. They just couldn't afford it. They couldn't afford to keep up with it. So even though the show was great, it's really just a performance to give a show to you guys, to the audience. But in real life, it didn't really help. It did more damage than it did good to these people, unfortunately. I mean, and that's the truth about that show. So that's why I keep reminding the audience that whatever you see is fake, right? But these tears are definitely real. Going back to this wife swap shit, it was good for me. It leaves me with good feelings, seeing happy families, connecting with each other. So, like, the daughter, I told you that the parents were very strict with her, are very strict with her. So, like, they won't, for example, in the wife swap, in that episode, the new mom wanted to take the kids to get a temporary tattoo, and the dad refused. Like, he put his foot down. He's like, I'm not having that. It's not happening. This is a temporary tattoo. And she's 15. It's temporary. Well, why are you having such a... I think some people are just, like, way too uptight. Well, I mean, the only thing I can say is that, with regards to, like, the actual tattooing, like, the real stuff, of course, that is toxic, right? So that's really the only opposition that I would say that I have. Because, it's your body, and if you want to put, chemicals... I mean, I told you guys that I was thinking about getting a tattoo, but I'm not 15. And if I had a daughter, and well, here I go giving more personal information, but for anybody who's followed all my work, you would already know this. But if you don't know this, because I have too much shit and you're not going to be watching all my shit, I did once have an abortion. So that means that if I did not have an abortion, and I've already asked God to forgive me for my sins, I know I've been mentioning God here and there, and of course I'm just going to tie everything all in, because honestly, in a way, I feel like if I had a better relationship with my parents, or with my mom at least, I probably wouldn't have attempted or even tried to have looked into spirituality of any sort or develop a relationship with God or even bother trying, you know what I mean? Although I did have some things that happened to me that's just what um opened up my eyes to something bigger. So if my relationship with my mom was not so fucked up, then I probably wouldn't look into having a relationship with God, if that makes sense. Because, at the same time, it's like I have these angry, negative feelings, why did I have to get stuck with a psychopath mom? My mom, she doesn't even, we would never do anything doing each other's makeup. It just wouldn't happen. My mom would not ever let me touch her. My mom does not let me touch her. You guys know that I've been to Thailand and learned Thai massage. Level 1, level 2, chair massage, aromatic oil massage, deep tissue. So, I've been, trained in these modalities. Besides the fact that I am just naturally gifted at doing massage. And my mom prefers the shitty, crappy machine that she's got instead of me giving her a foot massage. Now, let me tell you, she's got some nasty ass feet, so I don't really want to touch that shit either. But my point is, she's my fucking mother, and if her fucking feet hurts, if I see that she's got foot pain or that she's complaining because she's in pain, I would like to help her out and give her a fucking foot massage because she's my fucking mother. But she doesn't want me touching her. So, it is what it is. She prefers the machine. The machine. She's gone through more than, a few machines. She'll just use it until it breaks and then her partner will get her a new one. I just think she's fucking weird. Who the fuck prefers a machine over a human's touch when it comes to massage? I told you that I feel like my mom hates me more than she loves me because her actions and words and behavior demonstrates so. She has told me to shut up. She's told me that, she never has anything positive to say. So, if I dress up, then she calls me a prostitute. If I'm walking around with my big-ass backpack, because, I like to have all my shit with me, meaning my dolls. So, whenever I go with her to the casino, she doesn't like seeing me with my big-ass backpack. Well, my whole family. Because, according to them, so they don't, obviously, if you're a backpacker, then they're going to think that you're just homeless. Because that's just how they think. Because if you had space, like a car, or a hotel room, then all your shit would be in your room, or in your car. Only homeless people carry around all their shit. So that's why, they're just gonna judge you and call you homeless, call me homeless, if they see me walking around with a big ass backpack, because it's just they're just always in the fucking casino, always. If they're not doing the things that their normal day-to-day life entails, such as cooking and cleaning and taking care of the house, then they're in the casino. Because that's what they enjoy doing. Really, they're just fucking gambleholics who don't want to do the household chores. So that's their escape from reality. So like instead, well, yeah, you would say that many people just turn to the bottle because that's their vice, that's their outlet, and so they just drink their whole life away. And my family, they just spend all their free time in the casino. So their life revolves around the casino, and the only way I can have a relationship, physical relationship with my family, not that I actually want it, is if I also submit to a life inside the casino, which obviously I'm not doing that anymore. I did it for 1 year, and that was way more than enough. And not just 1 year, because obviously when I was a child, even before I was born, I was in the fucking casino. Right? So now you understand why I just could not wait to get the fuck away away from my family. What kind of environment? Why would you put a child in an environment like that? Why? A child does not belong in the casino. So yeah, I have absolutely no relationship, nothing good out of my mom. I mean, she could be, looking at any of my videos, and like I said, she's already embarrassed and ashamed of me. So what difference does it make? And I know I probably paint her to be like some evil witch, but I'm sure she's nice somewhere in there. She's only just nice, when it suits her, or when she's like love bombing me, just to like, you know, it's control, dominate. She's a psychopath. She just wants to control and dominate me. That's it. She treats me like her fucking slave. And I don't appreciate anything, blah, blah, blah. I'm selfish. The whole gaslighting nonsense. I mean, what can I say? You know what feels nice? Freedom. Freedom from her tyranny. Yeah. She's a tyrant. I even showed the casino workers, because obviously they have to deal with her. And they laughed, because I have my mom saved as Tyrant Mom. So yeah, I mean, I'm sorry for, spilling all the, of course she's just going to be embarrassed if she hears about this, but it's nothing that, I mean, there's nothing worse that I can do, you know what I mean, at this point in my life. I've already exposed every body part, and I've already royally embarrassed. I'm an embarrassment to my mom and my family, right? So between my pee hole, my butthole, and telling people to grow their penises, and then being weird with my dolls, my haunted dolls, like there's just nothing that there's no stone left unturned, I think. Like, in my case, at least. Like, I've already been as crazy as I could possibly be and talked as much shit as I have, so really, there's just no beating a dead horse at this point. But yeah, I think that my mom has unresolved trauma that will never be resolved. Because you have to understand that she wasn't. Your parents can only do what they know, right? How can they possibly give you something that they never had? If your parents never experienced true, love and support from their own parents, how is it possible for them to give you something that they never had? So it sucks that I have to be the adult to work through these things myself. Because obviously I'll never have a mom that will be like, oh, good job, Juliet. I'm so proud of you, Juliet. I'm just not going to get stuff like that out of her. I know what I will get out of her. Always like comparisons, like making me feel like I'm not good enough, or rubbing it in my face how so and so has this amount of money or is doing this with their life and how successful they are, and just always making me feel like a loser. That's her job, right? So you understand why? You're not giving me any reasons to want to have a positive relationship with you, right? I'd rather spend time with my dolls than deal with you. Why would I want to be around somebody's company when they're always telling me, that I look like a homeless prostitute? Why would I want to be around you if you're always making me feel all these negative feelings? I don't want that. I don't need that shit. I am too old for that shit. You know what I mean? Like, maybe you could have your way with me when I was, underage, right? And I was dependent on you. But now I am finally an adult and I'm living my own fucking life, and clearly, here I am talking to my audience about, all my personal shit. So, yeah, it sucks that I can't just be like, oh, my mom and I are best friends. Why do you think I'm, like, desperately trying to make these subliminals work? They're magic. Maybe it would be great to have a mom that I actually have a wonderful relationship with, but unfortunately, that is not my reality. And I honestly, everybody in the family knows that I cannot stand her partner. I think he's a fucking loser. I call him asswipe. Yep. Yeah. So I just don't really, because I just don't like how he is. Like, anyways, my mom thinks that just because a guy does not smoke, does not drink, does not gamble, that he's a good guy. Such bare minimum requirements. Although, I would have to say that many guys definitely do those things. But anyways, yeah, the wife swap definitely struck a nerve or whatever, struck a chord when I watched it, because it was nice to see that, that the family benefited. At least the daughter did. And I told you guys. I've showed you guys that shit from the fucking children's Bibles. So I don't trust the fucking Bible. What the fuck is this? Nobody has commented on this. Besides, oh, does it mean West Side? No, man. I'm pretty sure it means kill babies or some shit. Cause I don't trust these motherfucker reptilians. I'm sure that the word of God, the only shit that I can take word for word is the Ten Commandments. Besides that, I don't trust the fucking Bible. And I'm a feminist, and I told you guys the way I interpreted the fucking Bible based off whatever I have read so far is like I just like the message is clear to me that God only assigns important tasks and leadership to men, and meanwhile women are just supposed to pop out babies. Like I don't understand. That's not my sole purpose on this fucking planet. That's not my sole mission on this fucking earth. I'm happy not having any kids, okay? I told you guys my opinion. First of all, I have lost all faith in humanity. Between all the conspiracy nonsense, you know, people getting kidnapped and babies getting sacrificed, etc. Why would I even bother having children when there's so many fucking predators, right? It's crazy, you know, like sometimes when you watch like nature stuff and like let's just say when the turtles hatch, they hatch like what 100 baby turtles or whatever. And all the other animal predators are having a feast. You know, that's just so sad, in my opinion. But, like, that's the circle of life. Like, they don't even fucking last. You know, some of them don't even get to hatch. Because of the predators. You know, they just, like, let's just say a snake goes in and invades the fucking nest. You're done. It's crazy. And then, so, like, you know, like, the biggest challenges of the baby's life is just as soon as they're fucking born, you're just, like, thrown into this obstacle course or whatever you want to call it, like Survivor. So, it's like, you gotta be fast, you gotta be strong, and if you're weak, I say this, don't be weak prey, don't be easy prey. Somebody's gonna snatch your baby up. And that's the reason why I'm just like, well, I don't understand why parent influencers want to parade around their fucking kids when there's so many predators. But you keep doing you. I mean, you know, I think we live in a time, because, like, the internet community is just so unregulated. The laws are not keeping up with, you know, the times. Let's see, I think, what is it? Something has, like, teen accounts. First of all, I don't think that children should be allowed to be having phones or social media. So I guess you could say that I would be one of those very strict parents. But, like, I just, if I was to have, look, my ass hurts from sitting in the same spot. I don't have enough cushioning in my ass. But, if I was to have my own children, I would probably just have, like, a technology-free zone or technology-free household, you know, like, there's a time and place for it. The family home environment should be free from, you know, this stuff. Obviously, I say that now, but, like, you know, what if I was to be one of those social media moms? But, jokes aside, I'm very aware of the dangers, right? I just told you guys about Rihanna being shot at. Like, it doesn't matter how much money you've got. You know, like, shit, anything can happen to anybody, right? So why would you give access to this window. Like, you're just opening up a window for, you know, jealous assholes, enemies to come in and fuck up your vibe, fuck up your life. So I see social media as a window, as an open window. You're just going to allow predators to come in and snatch your loved ones, right? Because there's just only so many fucking cases of human trafficking, like PDF files everywhere, right? It's just crazy. So why would you, as a parent, your job is to protect your children, right? Are you really protecting them by, I mean, and then there has to be some sort of balance, because there's also like overprotective parents, right? So when you're like sheltering them and not like, so that the kids know nothing about the real world because you've kept everything away from them. I told you I was a sheltered child, right? I didn't really, like, even though people tried to warn me, like, about, let's just say, the Marines, people tried to warn me, like, even the recruiters. Because, you know, when you're a female in the Marines, you're not going to have the same experience in the Marine Corps as a man, right? Because you're always going to be looked at as a piece of meat, a piece of fresh meat. That's how I felt when I walked into the chow hall for the first time. Oh, I was the only female in there at the time. It was just crazy. Like, just imagine. Can you even imagine, like, being the only girl surrounded by, like, 100 guys? Anyways, I feel a little bit better now after talking about this shit, but like I said, it doesn't matter how many times I fucking talk about it, nothing's gonna change, you know? So, I guess one of the reasons why I make so many videos is because you will know when these subliminals work their magic. Right? Because there isn't any angle that has not been covered between the things that I've done in my past, right, that's been deleted, right? Whether it's voluntarily deleted or, like, they deleted it for me because I told you I was blacklisted or banned from porn because I was spreading all my conspiracies. And they're not conspiracies, man. Have you guys seen anything about the Epstein nonsense? I mean, that shit is real. So, you know, it's like we all want our kids to succeed, right? You always want what's best for your child. But I don't think that some parents are aware that they're really just pushing their kids, presenting their kids to these pedophiles on a silver platter. When you are putting your kids into modeling and stuff, beauty pageants. I mean, you've got Victoria's Secret models coming out talking about getting raped and stuff, right? So, unfortunately, that is the world that we live in. So, and that's the reason why I am proud to be able to say that I am self-made. Because I never had to do anything that I didn't really, you know, I never had to sleep with a producer, etc. And that's probably never going to happen either. So, and even though I worked at the strip club, I never sold my sex. But it doesn't matter, because no matter what I say or do, that's not going to change my family's opinion of me. And I don't need their approval, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, my family does see me as like a prostitute, even though I've never prostituted myself. It doesn't matter. Like, I'm just branded the black sheep of my family. And like I said, I just really don't care what they think. If I wanted their approval, then I don't need their approval. So the only thing I regret is having that desire to please them in my younger years. So yes, I did waste a lot of time. I told you guys I wasted time with that fucking Chinese guy. 3 years. That's a long time, especially when you're young. I only did it just because I wanted to make my family happy. So back then I was sacrificing my own happiness just to impress my family. Is it worth it? No. I'm never going to get those 3 years back. I could have been having, wild, amazing sex with somebody else. But instead I was stuck with that stinking loser. I mean, I'm sure he's not a loser, but he's definitely not for me. I mean, he was a nice guy, but was he really? Because, like, I told that motherfucker he was not packing, he wasn't bringing it. It's like the Rock. When he says lay the smack down. Yeah, I just want somebody to lay the smack down on my bajinga-jing. My bojangles, I don't fucking know, like, you know what I'm talking about. And he was not cutting it, so despite the fact that I told him that he was not bringing the smackdown, he still manipulated me to guilt trip me and made me feel bad that, I was just, like, only worried about that. Well, motherfucker, like, if you're not packing, if you're not satisfying me, what good are you? Why do I need to keep you around? I have no reason to keep you around if you can't bring it, right? So, anyways. I am so happy and grateful that I'm surrounded by big, juicy ones attached to hot young guys, clean young guys who want to do DVP with me. I just cannot wait for these subliminals to work, but until they work, I just need to keep doing this. So look, opportunity costs. I just spent 48 minutes yapping. Do you really think I'm going to go back to bed? I mean, what else is there for me to do? It's fucking... What time is it? 6:15 a.m. Oh my goodness. So, what do you prefer? One long-ass video? Or 100 short videos? That's too much work. So, I guess I'm trying, like I keep saying, I'm trying to get away from the fucking shorts, but you guys see me. That's what people click on. Nobody clicks on the fucking... So, all this work for no fucking reason. Because nobody's gonna click on this shit. So, when I have a chance, I'm gonna do the fucking Excel spreadsheet so I can study my thumbnails and know what works, because I'm all about working smarter, not harder. And this is too much fucking work. Even adding the fucking descriptions, has it helped? I don't know, maybe a little bit, but not enough for me to be like, oh, I'm gonna keep doing this. No, I'm just gonna copy paste and use the same fucking shit every fucking day. Like, what's the point? Because I'm an entertainer, right? So really, the only person I'm trying to impress is me.